Hi, I'm Miriam, and this is Trials and Errors, a show where we talk about the latest legal news. I'm in my kitchen right now because it's sort of a cold, wintry day, and I like hot drinks on cold, wintry days. Not gonna lie, that's fantastic. So, qualified immunity. There are a couple of issues with qualified immunity, and let's get into teacher mode first. Where does qualified immunity come from exactly? It's not in a statute, meaning it's not in a book that you can pick up and look up and say, oh, it's right here. We've gone over a few statutes before, and I tried to link to them so that you could take a look at what they were. But you're not going to find it there. It's not in the Constitution. You could read the whole dang thing and you wouldn't find it there. It comes from the courts. It's made up by judges, and it's made up so that they can protect police officers. Now, this summer, we saw amazing uprisings all across the country, led by Black Lives Matter. And as a criminal defense attorney, it was pretty amazing to witness people from all walks of life, all colors, coming together to say, basically, enough. Enough of police brutality, enough of our Black Americans being afraid to exist. Our criminal justice system is built on the concept that white people needed to be protected from Black people. Is that unnuanced? Are there other factors involved? Yeah, probably. I'm sure there are. Yes, there are. But at the end of the day, we can distill it down to that. One of the ways that we've been able to maintain all of that is through policing. Now, I live in a neighborhood, and honestly, we've got all kinds of people who live in this neighborhood, but it's an upper middle class neighborhood in a suburb of a major city. And you know what we don't have in my neighborhood? Police. Other communities, particularly communities of color and communities that aren't upper middle class suburbs of major cities, they don't have that luxury. There's stuff that I do out here that if I did it someplace else might involve a police officer walking up to me, or a white person walking up to me, or calling the police on me. Black America is incredibly over-policed. When the police do things that are wrong, when they do things that are not legal, we protect them. Our system protects them, because policing in the way that we do it in America is integral to maintaining white supremacy. The way that the courts have done it is just by giving them immunity. You can sue me if I do something wrong in your case. You can sue your doctor if your doctor does something wrong. You can sue your neighbor if you slip and fall in front of his house and he hasn't cleaned the ice off the sidewalk. Police officers, in order to sue them, even if they did everything wrong. So, say for example, you're minding your own business and you're in a grocery store and somebody says, "That's the man that robbed me yesterday." You're just there with your kids, buying your groceries, doing your regular Saturday afternoon thing, and the cops come up to you and they put you in handcuffs, and everyone around you sees this. They take you outside, your kids are crying, your wife has to come to get those children because you're going to the police department. You're booked, you're processed. Ultimately, you see a commissioner and you're released. Maybe you had a bond set. Then the witness says, "My bad, wrong guy. Looked alike. I have a hard time, telling them apart. That wasn't the guy." And your case is dismissed. But not before your mugshot is on a website, before your boss finds out that you were arrested, before you had to miss some days of work to deal with going to see your lawyer, maybe checking in with pretrial if that's what happened. And your friends and family all know about this, not to mention that your kids were traumatized. You go to your lawyer, you say, "I want to sue." And your lawyer says, yeah, I'm with you. This was an unlawful arrest. But the cops didn't do anything wrong. They were told you were the criminal, and the system worked exactly how it was designed. That's qualified immunity. That police officer was told by someone that you were the person that committed the crime. They didn't investigate. They didn't ask you where you had been on that particular date, time, and place. They did nothing to find out if you were the person, but they arrested you. There is nothing that is more frightening than having your liberty taken away. To have your children see it and to be able to do nothing about it because the cop was just doing his job. You imagine that's your job? You can make all the mistakes in the world and nobody can ever hold you accountable, except in really extreme cases. If it's a really extreme case. Now, mind you, you and I can't get away without being aware of the law. A mistake of the law is not a defense to a criminal case. If I didn't know that it was illegal to have a gun when I go into Washington, D.C., it doesn't matter. I'm still guilty of that crime. Cops? No. If a cop makes a mistake about the law, a cop, okay? If a cop makes a mistake about the law, they still have the defense of qualified immunity. Because you just have to ask, well, was it a reasonable mistake? I mean, did other cops think this too? Was it a fair mistake to make? We don't get that luxury because if we did, then the system that is designed to oppress people wouldn't function. Qualified immunity, if we're going to have a just and fair system, we can talk about defunding the police. We can talk about a cab. We can talk about all of these things. But really what we need to talk about is legislation that tears apart, tears down, gets rid of qualified immunity for police officers. Because until somebody loses something, and in America, let's be honest, money is what matters. They are afraid to lose money. So if we can go after them, not taxpayers, there's a whole other argument about, you know, if we can sue cops and really just the municipalities are going to be stuck paying the bill. If we can sue police officers, things might change. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, like button as well. Don't hit the dislike button. There's no reason for that kind of hate. Just keep walking by and hit the notification icon so that you will know when we release these videos.